People often imagine aliens as tall beings with large heads and bright eyes, or small creatures with long arms, or glowing shapes that hover above the ground. But the truth is more mysterious. If life exists somewhere else, it might not look anything like the stories. It might be simple. It might be intelligent. It might be something humans have never imagined. Perhaps floating shapes that think in colors instead of words. Or gentle beings made of light that drift through the air like living lanterns. Or maybe creatures that live deep underground on a faraway world, never seeing a sunrise, yet building an entire society in the warmth of their planet's core. Throughout history, people have reported strange lights in the sky. Silent objects that glide above fields. Bright shapes that stop and hover before shooting into the clouds. Some lights dance like fireflies. Others streak across the sky faster than anything humans have built. Many of these lights have simple explanations. Meteors, satellites, airplanes, weather balloons. But some do not. Some remain unsolved. Some stay floating in the minds of those who saw them, lingering like a memory they cannot fully explain. These mysteries shape the belief that humans are not alone. And it's a belief older than recorded history. Ancient civilizations carved stories into stone, painted unusual shapes on cave walls, built monuments aligned with stars that they seemed to know far too well. They wrote about sky visitors, glowing chariots, beings who descended from above. Whether these stories were religious, symbolic, or literal encounters, no one fully knows. But the echoes of those tales continue to pulse through time. In modern days, science has joined the search. Massive radio telescopes listen to the sky, capturing tiny whispers from distant stars. Most of these whispers are natural, signals from dying stars or gas clouds drifting through the galaxy. But scientists keep listening, hoping someday to catch a signal that is different. A signal that is structured, deliberate, a message sent by someone who is trying to speak across the cosmos. Imagine such a message. Pattern repeating in perfect rhythm. A sound not made by nature but by thought. A signal that traveled thousands of years through the darkness before reaching Earth. A sign that someone far away wanted to say hello. Perhaps by the time the signal arrives, the sender's civilization has already changed or vanished. But the message remains, drifting like a bottled letter through the ocean of stars. The most fascinating part is this. Humans might be surrounded by signs of life, but simply don't know how to recognize them yet. Alien life might communicate in ways beyond sound or sight, perhaps through vibrations in the magnetic fields of planets, through chemical signals drifting between stars, or through unknown forms of energy. The universe might be speaking all the time, and humanity might just be learning the alphabet. There are worlds far beyond Earth that could hold oceans, warm and deep, hiding life beneath surfaces of ice. Moons like Europa and Enceladus that release plumes of water into space. Planets like Kepler-22b or TRAPPIST-1e, where temperatures might be gentle, air might be comforting, and liquid water might flow. On such worlds, life could be waiting quietly, evolving in ways humans cannot yet imagine. And somewhere in the vastness of the Milky Way, there could be a civilization older than human history itself. A civilization that watched stars form and fade. A civilization that mastered travel between suns, not through rockets but through knowledge humans have yet to dream of. They might move with technology that bends space like fabric, folding distances until they are small enough to cross in a moment. They might send explorers made of light, drifting through star systems silently, observing without disturbing. Perhaps one of those explorers has been here before, quietly drifting through Earth's atmosphere, invisible to all but the most sensitive instruments, watching oceans sparkle at sunrise, watching forests breathe, watching cities glow like constellations on the ground. Maybe they saw humanity and decided to simply observe, giving humans time to grow, to learn, to reach a point where they can join the cosmic conversation. People wonder why aliens, if they exist, have not shown themselves clearly. But the truth may be simple. Perhaps they are waiting for humanity to be ready. Not in technology, but in understanding. For humans to learn patience, cooperation, responsibility. For humans to grow into a species that explores not out of fear, but curiosity. Not out of conquest, but connection. The universe is ancient, older than every story, every dream, every memory. In all that time, life had endless opportunities to rise, fall, and rise again. There could be civilizations that became brilliant, then faded like a flame in the wind. Others that survived by becoming peaceful and wise. Others that hid. Others that traveled across 1,000 suns. Humans may be late to the cosmic gathering, but that does not mean they are alone. Every person who looks at the night sky feels something familiar. A small spark inside the soul. A sense that the stars are not empty. That the darkness is full of life, full of stories waiting to be told. That somewhere someone might be looking back. And so the search continues. Quiet, patient, hopeful. Scientists scan the heavens. Explorers send probes deeper into space. Dreamers write stories. Children imagine creatures on distant planets. And those who cannot sleep at night lie quietly, listening to the soft hum of the universe, wondering what lies beyond the thin blue skies of Earth. Maybe one day humans will travel to the stars. Maybe they will walk on worlds with violet grass or silver oceans. Maybe they will shake hands or share thoughts with beings who have waited for ages. Maybe they will learn new languages made of light or emotion. Maybe they will realize that the universe was never empty at all. It was simply waiting to be discovered. As the universe stretches endlessly outward, it carries stories older than time itself. Stories written in the glow of dying stars and in the frozen silence between galaxies. Stories that humanity has only begun to whisper about. When people gaze upward, they often forget that the sky they see is not just above them. It surrounds them entirely. Earth floats in the middle of a vast, cosmic sea, and that sea is alive with possibilities. Every point of light overhead could be a sun warming distant worlds. And every one of those worlds could hold landscapes beyond imagination. Imagine a planet where the sky glows a deep purple because its star burns a cooler red. Imagine forests of crystal-like trees, growing slowly over centuries, humming softly as wind moves across their hollow branches. Imagine deserts of silver sand, shaped by gentle blue storms that roll across the horizon like slow-moving oceans. Life on such a world might be fragile, delicate, yet intelligent. It might communicate through vibration, sending gentle pulses through the ground that carry ideas instead of sound. There could be worlds covered in oceans so vast that no land exists at all. Entire civilizations might live beneath the waves, drifting among glowing reefs and towering pillars of living coral. Their technology might be grown, not built. Their homes made from shaped light or woven currents. They might use gentle sonar tones that blend into the rhythm of the ocean, creating a language that sounds like a soft song. Their way of life could be peaceful, steady, based on harmony rather than conflict. They might wonder if anyone beyond their watery world listens to the same cosmic hum they hear. There might be planets locked beneath thick layers of ice, with warm oceans hidden below. Light would never reach their underwater cities, yet life could glow from within. Creatures might illuminate their surroundings with soft bioluminescent patterns, creating a world of shimmering blues and greens. If intelligent life lived there, they would evolve eyes that see far beyond the human spectrum. They might think in patterns of light, each thought a shifting glow inside their minds. They might consider the universe not through words or images, but through gentle pulses of brightness. And then there are the worlds where life could grow without bodies. Life made of energy alone. Life existing as swirling, moving fields that shift like auroras across the magnetic skin of a planet. beings that drift like living storms, minds that stretch across miles of landscape. They might communicate through changes in their glow, forming whole conversations in a single shimmering wave. To them, human life would seem incredibly small and incredibly fast, like sparks that flash and vanish in moments. Yet they might watch Earth with curiosity, wondering what it feels like to have hands or voices. Humans often imagine aliens as explorers crossing space in shiny metal ships. But travel between stars might not require ships at all. Some civilizations might move through dimensions humans cannot yet detect. They could slip between layers of space like sliding between thin sheets of paper. They could appear and vanish without a sound, without leaving a trail, observing quietly from behind the curtain of reality. If they have visited Earth, humans may never know, because these travelers might prefer silence. They might value watching more than interacting. They might believe that every world deserves the chance to grow at its own pace. There is also the possibility that some civilizations choose to remain completely hidden. Not because they fear, but because they have learned the weight of knowledge. Perhaps they once reached out too quickly, too eagerly, and saw how difficult first contact could be. Perhaps they learned that patience is the key to peaceful existence. So they stay quiet, choosing to be guardians instead of visitors. They watch young species like humanity grow, celebrating their successes from afar and hoping they avoid the mistakes made by others long ago. But humans, being curious by nature, continue to search. They launch probes into the dark. They build telescopes that capture the faintest glimmers of distant planets. They listen for signals that might be a whisper from a civilization too far away to see. And every year, that search grows more advanced, more sensitive, more determined. Human knowledge expands like ripples in a pond, spreading with every discovery. One of the most powerful ideas in this search is simple. If life happened once on Earth, why would it not happen again? Why would the universe, with all its endless variety, create life only a single time? Nature rarely does anything only once. Stars are born by the millions. Planets form constantly. Galaxies collide, merge, and reshape themselves. Life, given the right ingredients, seems almost inevitable. Some scientists believe that life may be far more common than humans assume. Not rare, but abundant. Hidden in places too distant to see or too strange to detect. Life might take forms so different from Earth-based life that humans wouldn't recognize it even if they looked directly at it. Perhaps it breathes gases unknown on Earth. Perhaps it moves through environments that would destroy human bodies instantly. Perhaps it exists in microscopic forms on planets humans have already scanned, unnoticed because it does not fit the definition of life humanity expects. And then there is the idea of ancient civilizations. Civilizations that began millions of years before humans even existed. If they reached advanced technology long ago, they might have built wonders far beyond human imagination. Structures the size of moons. Networks of energy that stretch between star systems like bridges of light. Archives containing the knowledge of countless worlds. They might live in harmony with their environments, blending technology with nature so seamlessly that outsiders would struggle to tell where one ends and the other begins. These ancient beings might have watched stars rise and fade. They might have seen entire species come and go. To them, time flows differently. 1,000 years might feel like a season, 1,000,000 years like a memory. If they ever crossed paths with humanity, they would probably see humans as young, energetic, full of potential, but still learning how to use the tools they create. There is a quiet belief shared by dreamers and scientists alike. If humanity ever meets an alien civilization, the first encounter may not happen through a spaceship landing in a field. It might happen through data, through a signal sent from a distant star, through a discovery on a frozen moon, through a pattern found in the atmosphere of a faraway planet. The first contact might be slow, gentle, and thoughtful, a handshake across light years made of mathematics and curiosity. As night deepens, the universe feels closer. The quiet air, the soft glow of distant stars, the feeling of being part of something enormous. Listeners lying in their beds might imagine drifting through space, weightless, floating past swirling nebulae and glittering star clusters. The universe becomes peaceful, like a vast ocean with slow, soothing waves. A place where worries soften and the mind can wander without fear. The truth is simple. The universe is too big, too ancient, too full of opportunity for humanity to be alone. Somewhere, life is breathing, thinking, dreaming. Somewhere, a distant world turns under a different sun. Somewhere, someone looks up at their own sky and wonders the same thing humans wonder. Are they alone? And they feel the same quiet tug inside their hearts. Across all the vast distances, that shared curiosity might be the connection that binds every thinking species in the cosmos. A feeling so universal that it becomes a bond stronger than any language. The desire to understand, the desire to explore, the desire to know what lies beyond the next horizon. And so the journey continues. The search grows. The mystery deepens, and the stars wait patiently, shining softly, like lanterns guiding travelers home. The universe moves in cycles far bigger than anything people can measure. Stars are born in clouds of dust, glowing brighter as gravity shapes them into massive spheres of fire. They live long lives, some steady and peaceful, others violent and powerful, pushing energy through space like thunder that never stops. And when they die, they scatter their pieces across the cosmos, leaving behind the elements that form new stars, new planets, and eventually new life. Everything that exists is recycled stardust, reshaped endlessly in a cosmic dance older than memory itself. On Earth, humans wonder about their origins. They look in the mirror and see faces made of stardust, breathing air that once flowed through forests, oceans, and ancient worlds. They realize that their bodies are built from atoms created inside stars that lived billions of years before Earth even formed. This connection makes the idea of alien life feel less strange. If humans came from the stars, why would other beings not come from them as well? Somewhere across the galaxy, there might be planets very similar to Earth. Oceans that shimmer under warm yellow suns. Winds that carry the scent of alien vegetation. Mountains sculpted by forces familiar yet different. On such worlds, life might flourish in forms both recognizable and surprising. Maybe there are creatures that glide through the air on wide, transparent wings that shimmer like liquid glass. Maybe there are beings who walk upright, with eyes that can see farther into the ultraviolet spectrum, allowing them to perceive colors invisible to human vision. They might have societies built with wisdom passed down for thousands of generations, shaped by lessons their world taught them long ago. Far beyond those more familiar worlds could exist planets of extreme environments. Worlds where storms roar across the sky with lightning the size of mountains. Worlds where gravity is so strong that every movement feels heavy and slow. Life there might adapt by evolving strong, dense bodies capable of withstanding immense pressure. Their thoughts might move at a different rhythm, slower and more deliberate, shaped by a harsher environment. They might look at the universe with patience that humans rarely understand, considering each decision carefully, valuing time as if it were the rarest treasure. In contrast, some worlds might revolve around small, faint stars that barely give light. Those planets would be dim, cool, and quiet. Any beings living there might have developed huge eyes, capable of absorbing even the faintest glow. Their societies might live in harmony with the darkness, using subtle lights created from natural bioluminescent organisms to communicate. Their cities might glow gently in soft hues of blue and green, arranged like constellations on the ground. These beings might be gentle, peaceful, and deeply observant, noticing every small detail in their surroundings. They might watch the stars with a sense of longing, dreaming of other worlds much brighter than their own. One of the greatest possibilities is that alien life might be far older than humanity. Civilizations could have risen and fallen before Earth's continents even existed. They might have invented technologies that humans cannot even imagine. They may have learned how to shape energy as easily as humans shape clay. They may have built networks that stretch between star systems, carrying information instantly across light years. They may have developed ways to extend their lives for thousands of years, allowing them to see generations of their own species grow, evolve, and pass on knowledge without losing ancient wisdom. Such beings might see the universe as a living tapestry, constantly shifting and weaving itself into new forms. They might take it upon themselves to protect young civilizations, watching from afar but never interfering. Perhaps they follow a code of cosmic respect, believing that each species must grow through its own experiences. They might send small probes made of microscopic machines, drifting through space silently. These machines could be smaller than dust particles, invisible to human eyes, quietly studying the development of worlds, gathering information, and sending it back to their creators in ways humans cannot detect. And there is another possibility, even more fascinating. What if some civilizations communicate through means that are not physical at all? What if their technology allows them to send thoughts directly across space? Not words or signals, but emotions, impressions, concepts. Perhaps they speak in dreams. Perhaps some people on Earth have felt strange moments of inspiration, sudden ideas that seem to come from nowhere, feelings of curiosity or wonder that appear unexpectedly. Maybe those moments are echoes from distant minds reaching out across the stars. Not to control or influence, but to share, to connect, to remind each other that the universe is full of thinking beings trying to understand their place in the cosmos. Humans have wondered if aliens have visited Earth. Some believe that strange craft have appeared in the sky, moving in ways that defy physics. Silent movements, sudden shifts, rapid accelerations. Objects that seem to observe, hover, and then vanish without a trace. People have told stories of glowing spheres drifting above the ocean, of triangle-shaped craft appearing over mountains, of flickering lights in the desert night. Many sightings can be explained by natural phenomena or human technology, but others remain mysteries with no clear answers. If intelligent visitors have ever come to Earth, they may have chosen caution. They may not want to disturb life on this planet. They may simply observe, taking notes on human behavior, studying the environment, watching civilizations grow and change. To them, Earth might be a young world full of potential, still finding its direction. They might wait for humans to reach a stage where communication becomes possible. A moment when humanity's understanding expands beyond fear, beyond ego, beyond conflict. The idea of first contact is both exciting and humbling. Humans often imagine dramatic scenes. A ship landing, a hatch opening, beings stepping out into the light. But real contact might be far quieter. A small message detected in the noise of space. A repeating pulse of numbers or patterns that could only come from intelligence. A detection of chemical signatures in an alien atmosphere that reveal life breathing on another world. First contact might happen without a single alien ever setting foot on Earth. It could happen through discoveries made by telescopes, satellites, or probes exploring distant regions of the solar system. For people trying to sleep at night, these thoughts can be comforting. The idea that humans are part of something vast and ancient brings a sense of belonging. The universe is not an empty void. It is a home filled with stars, worlds, possibilities, and perhaps neighbors unseen but ever present. The quiet hum of the cosmos becomes soothing, like a lullaby sung by the stars themselves. Drifting through these thoughts feels like floating through a warm, endless ocean, weightless and calm. Even if humanity has not met extraterrestrial life yet, the search itself brings hope. Every discovery, every sound captured from space, every new planet found in the habitable zone fuels curiosity. Humans are explorers by nature. From crossing oceans to climbing mountains to peering into the deepest parts of space, the desire to discover is woven into the fabric of the human spirit. And the greatest discovery of all may be waiting just beyond the next star. Perhaps, somewhere in the distant future, humans will step onto another world where alien life walks beneath unfamiliar skies. They might stand face to face with beings who have waited centuries to meet another intelligent species. That moment could be peaceful, filled with wonder on both sides. A meeting of minds from two different corners of the galaxy, connected by the shared desire to understand the universe. Until that day comes, the mystery remains. A mystery that comforts, inspires, and gently calls out to anyone who gazes at the night sky. The stars whisper softly, inviting the mind to drift, to imagine, to dream of worlds untouched and civilizations unseen. And as the universe expands outward, so does the imagination, reaching into the unknown with quiet hope. The night grows deeper, shadows lengthen, and the vastness of space stretches further than the mind can grasp. But instead of fear, there is a calmness in knowing that humanity is part of something immense, part of an endless story still being written, a story filled with light, life, and the possibility that no one is ever truly alone in the dark. As the universe unfolds layer by layer, humanity realizes that the cosmos is far more intricate than it first appears. Space isn't an empty stretch of darkness. It is alive with motion, soundless yet full of meaning, filled with currents of energy flowing between stars like invisible rivers. These currents carry dust, light, radiation, and perhaps unknown forms of information. Some ancient civilizations might have learned to navigate these currents the way sailors once learned to use the winds on Earth. They might glide along them effortlessly, using the natural flow of space to travel enormous distances without needing engines or fuel, just the subtle pull of the universe itself. Imagine beings who learned to read these cosmic tides. They might possess senses unlike anything humans know. They might detect subtle vibrations of space, the faint echoes of stars being born or galaxies shifting. To them, every ripple would have meaning. Every fluctuation would tell a story. They might drift through the galaxy the way a gentle breeze moves through a field, calm, deliberate, and silent. Some civilizations might live near the center of the galaxy, where stars crowd together, glowing in clusters so dense that night never truly comes. Their alien skies would never darken. Every horizon would shimmer with millions of suns. Life on such worlds would evolve under constant light, never knowing darkness. Their biology might be adapted to handle enormous amounts of radiation. Their eyes might be lined with protective layers, allowing them to see clearly even when surrounded by overwhelming brightness. Their cultures could be shaped by the endless day, their societies awake constantly, never sleeping in the way humans do. Their dreams might happen while awake, drifting thoughts floating quietly as they go about their lives beneath the crowded glow of the galactic core. Far from the center, on the outer edges of the galaxy, conditions would be completely different. There, stars are scattered thinly, and large regions of space stretch out in near emptiness. On worlds orbiting those distant stars, night would be deep and long. The skies would be profoundly dark, with stars appearing faint and rare. Beings living there might develop extraordinary vision, able to gather every bit of light from the sky. For them, the universe might feel vast and lonely, leading them to wonder about what lies beyond their dim horizons. Their curiosity might drive them to search outward, to reach for contact with civilizations brighter and older than they could ever be. Somewhere, hidden in distant arms of the galaxy, there could be civilizations built beneath the surface of their worlds. Not because they fear the sky, but because their planets might be covered in thick atmospheres, storms, or heavy clouds that make the surface dangerous. Beneath the ground, entire cities could be carved from glowing minerals that radiate soft light. Rivers of molten rock might warm their underground homes. Their art, architecture, and culture might be shaped by stone and crystal, creating living structures that shift and grow over time. They may never look up at the stars, but they might feel their gravitational pull, sensing the movements of cosmic bodies through subtle quakes in the rock around them. Then there are the nomadic civilizations. Not tied to any single planet, they travel from star system to star system in massive, self-sustaining structures. These aren't ships in the human sense. They could be ecosystems, floating worlds made of metal, light, and energy. Whole forests might grow inside them. Rivers might flow through their interior chambers. Thousands of beings might call these roaming cities home, living peacefully as they journey across the galaxy at speeds that make the concept of time blur. To them, stars are landmarks. Planets are rest stops. They might live entire lives without ever touching soil, seeing the universe as an infinite road stretching ahead of them. There's also the possibility of civilizations that developed beneath gas giants, living deep within dense atmospheres. These beings might float in layers of gas, held aloft by buoyancy or wings adapted to thick, swirling currents. They might build structures that drift with the winds, vast platforms made of lightweight materials. Their societies might revolve around the movement of storms, the shifting of atmospheric bands, and the gentle rhythm of rising and falling through layers of cloud. They might never see solid ground. They might never imagine life could exist on land or oceans. To them, the universe is an endless sky, and they float through it endlessly. And then there are the civilizations that dwell in the quiet spaces between stars. Not on planets or moons, but in artificial habitats orbiting alone in the vast emptiness. They might have chosen solitude intentionally. They might have built enormous spherical structures harnessing the light of distant suns. Their technology might be so advanced that they need nothing from planets. Everything they require, they build. Everything they use, they generate. Their homes could be peaceful sanctuaries where art, philosophy, and introspection shape their daily lives. They might see planets as chaotic, unpredictable, and noisy, preferring instead the endless stillness between solar systems. Across all these possibilities, one question threads through the galaxy like a gentle whisper. Do these civilizations know about each other? Do they talk? Do they share knowledge? Or do they remain quiet, living in isolation, each convinced they are alone in the vast cosmic ocean? Perhaps some have tried to communicate. They might send long, slow transmissions across space, signals that take thousands of years to reach their destination. Maybe those signals drift toward Earth right now, crossing billions of miles silently. Humans might never detect them because they use forms of transmission unfamiliar to human technology. Maybe alien languages rely on patterns of gravitational waves, fluctuations in dark matter, or shimmering distortions in space that human instruments aren't designed to interpret. The universe may be filled with conversations humans cannot yet hear. For listeners drifting off to sleep, this idea becomes calming. Instead of imagining a lonely universe, they can imagine a vast cosmic network quietly humming in the background. A silent orchestra of civilizations sending signals across the stars, all woven into the same cosmic fabric. Earth itself is just one small voice in this quiet conversation. Humans send signals too. Radio waves escaping the atmosphere. Probes launched into the unknown. Messages carved into metal plates, describing the world in simple symbols. These messages travel endlessly, drifting outward like seeds on the wind. Maybe someday, a distant civilization will find one of them and hold it gently, examining the drawings, the symbols, the greetings, and understanding that humanity too sought connection. The idea that someone could find these human messages brings comfort. It means that even long after humans are gone, their presence will echo through space. Their curiosity, their creativity, their desire to understand, It will all remain traveling on cosmic winds. The universe holds all these possibilities quietly, patiently. And as people relax in their beds, letting their minds drift into the darkness behind closed eyes, they become part of that mystery. They become dreamers connected to stars, to worlds unseen, to civilizations far beyond imagination. The night becomes softer. The cosmos becomes warmer. The unknown becomes a blanket that wraps around the mind. And somewhere out there, perhaps on a distant world with a sky of violet clouds and 3 moons rising together, someone else wonders the same thing. Are they alone? Do other beings look up at their sky with the same sense of longing? Do they hope, quietly, that one day a message will arrive from the darkness? In this shared wondering, civilizations across the universe might already be connected, not by technology, but by the simple act of dreaming under a night sky. Humanity has always carried a quiet sense that the universe might be shared with others. Not in a dramatic or frightening way, but in a peaceful, almost natural sense. When people look up at the night sky, the mind naturally wonders who else might be looking back from somewhere far away. The stars have that effect. They stretch across the sky like ancient reminders that existence is bigger than anything we deal with on Earth. Bills, stress, noise, routines, all of it starts to feel small compared to the deep, endless canvas above. And in that stillness, the thought of aliens doesn't feel strange. It feels almost expected. For thousands of years, people have told stories about lights moving in impossible ways, or strange shapes drifting beyond the clouds. Some of these stories were probably misunderstandings of natural events. But others, the ones that never got explained, linger like gentle mysteries. They don't demand an answer. They simply sit in the back of the mind, whispering to anyone willing to listen. Maybe we're not alone. Maybe existence is more crowded than it appears. Maybe life blooms everywhere, taking forms beyond imagination. Scientists often say the universe feels too enormous to host only one form of life. When you hear that there are more stars in the cosmos than grains of sand on all the beaches on Earth, the idea of alien life doesn't sound wild. It sounds logical. On many of those distant stars, planets orbit in warm zones where water could exist. Some planets might have thick oceans. Others might have endless deserts made of glass-like sand. Some might have frozen surfaces hiding warm oceans deep below. And in those worlds, something could have grown, evolved, changed, and learned, just like life did on Earth. The thought of what aliens might look like becomes a soothing kind of curiosity, not a fear, more like the mind gently stretching into new shapes. Maybe alien life is simple, like microorganisms swimming through alien seas. Or maybe there are intelligent beings who look nothing like us. Maybe they have no bones or no eyes or no mouths. Maybe they communicate through vibrations or light pulses. Maybe they drift like glowing lanterns, or stand tall like shimmering trees that can think. Life somewhere else would be shaped by whatever that world demands. A world with strong gravity might create short, sturdy creatures. A world with thin atmosphere might produce life that glides effortlessly. A world of darkness might develop senses beyond our understanding. Some people think aliens must be more advanced than us. Others think they could be at the beginning of their journey, just starting to explore. The truth is that the universe is old, older than anything the human mind can fully grasp. Old enough that countless civilizations could have risen and disappeared long before Earth even existed. And others could just now be forming for the first time. Humanity sits in the middle of that cosmic timeline, wondering what came before and what might come after. The idea of being watched by another civilization is both exciting and oddly calming for many people. Not watched in a scary way, but in the sense that someone else out there might also be curious about us. If intelligent life exists elsewhere, they might look at Earth the same way we look at distant planets, wondering about oceans, mountains, clouds, and the beings who walk across the land. They might wonder if humans are peaceful or chaotic, They might wonder if Earth is filled with harmony or noise. They might wonder if our world glows with life the way theirs does. There's also the idea that alien life might be far too different for us to even recognize. Maybe they don't use technology we understand. Maybe they don't communicate using sound. Maybe their entire existence operates in frequencies beyond human senses. This idea can feel strangely comforting, because it reminds us that life is flexible, adaptable, and creative. It grows wherever it can, fills cracks, oceans, skies, and shadows. It takes every chance the universe gives it. And if the universe is full of chances, full of planets, full of stars, full of cosmic ingredients, then life should be everywhere, quietly shaping the cosmos. As people drift into sleep, these thoughts can wrap around the mind like a warm blanket. Imagining alien worlds becomes a slow, peaceful journey. Picture a planet with lavender-colored oceans stretching endlessly beneath a soft, glowing sky. Picture floating mountains suspended by magnetic forces, drifting like giants in a dream. Picture forests where every leaf emits a gentle light, illuminating the night in shades of blue and gold. On that world, beings might move gracefully across glowing fields, unaware that humans on a distant planet are imagining them. Or imagine a planet covered in water, where life swims through warm currents that circle the globe. Creatures shaped by waves and tides move silently beneath endless surfaces, using bioluminescent patterns to communicate. They might tell stories through changing colors, letting entire oceans pulse with shared emotion. They might live in harmony with their world, growing, learning, and evolving without ever needing to rise above the water. Then there could be planets forged by extreme heat, where volcanic fire shapes everything. Creatures there might absorb energy directly from molten rivers, glowing like embers in the dark. Their bodies might be resistant to heat in ways humans cannot imagine, living comfortably where no human could survive. Their civilization might be carved into stone, thriving near the edges of constant eruption. When people think about aliens, they aren't just thinking about beings in the sky. They're thinking about possibility. They're thinking about life beyond Earth and what that means for humanity. If life exists elsewhere, then every human problem becomes a little smaller. Every worry becomes a little lighter. The universe becomes not an empty void, but a shared space filled with stories, journeys, and connections waiting to be discovered. And sometimes, in the quiet moments before sleep, imagining that vastness helps the mind release whatever has been holding it down. The cosmos becomes a peaceful escape, a slow drift through stars, worlds, and beings unknown. A reminder that existence is far larger than one moment, one day, or one worry. The universe breathes softly, and the mind follows. As the mind wanders farther into the universe, the stars begin to feel less like distant points of light and more like ancient companions. Each one carries its own history, its own temperature, its own set of planets circling in patient orbits. Some stars burn hot and bright, living fast and ending in enormous explosions. Others burn slowly, glowing with steady light that lasts longer than human civilization could ever imagine. And around many of these stars, planets spin quietly, each with its own stories unfolding across time. People often picture alien life as something strange and exotic, but sometimes it helps to imagine it as something peaceful, something living its own simple life far from our world. Maybe on a distant planet, there is a creature resting beneath the shade of a crystallized tree, listening to the wind drift across fields of soft, glowing grass. Maybe there is a small community gathering near warm natural springs, sharing their experiences of the day in ways we would never understand. Maybe life forms somewhere else are not concerned with technology or travel. Maybe they live in harmony with their surroundings, shaped by their environment, shaped by forces different from our own. One of the reasons the possibility of alien life brings comfort is because it reminds people that existence is not limited to what they can see or touch. There is always more. more possibilities, more worlds, more stories unfolding in silence. The universe becomes a gentle reminder that life adapts, changes, and thrives wherever it can. Even in darkness, even in cold, even in heat, even in places where humans might think life could never survive. Some researchers wonder if alien life could exist in ways humans hardly understand. For example, life based not on carbon like us, but on silicon or nitrogen, or even charged particles drifting through magnetic fields. Imagine a being that glows softly because its body stores energy like a battery. Imagine life that communicates through waves of heat or electricity rather than sound. Imagine beings who never touch the ground because their planet's gravity interacts with their physical structure in unusual ways. These possibilities might sound wild, but the universe itself is wild. It follows its own logic, its own patterns, its own slow, ancient rhythm. And somewhere, beyond all the stars visible to the naked eye, there could be civilizations building their own understanding of existence. They might look at their sky with the same wonder humans feel. They might ask the same questions. They might wonder if someone else is out there, thinking about them in return. The thought that alien life might feel curiosity just like humans do has a calming effect. Curiosity is a universal force. It bridges time, distance, and difference. The something living beings share, even if they never meet. The idea that someone else in the universe might be curious about Earth softens the sense of loneliness many people feel at night. Instead of imagining an empty universe, people can imagine a shared one, a universe filled with quiet life, distant but real. Some say that if aliens exist, they might be watching us, not in a controlling or threatening way, but with the patient interest of observers who want to understand. They might be tracking the patterns of Earth's atmosphere, studying the glow of our cities, listening to the faint signals that escape into space from radio waves and broadcast transmissions. From far away, Earth might look like a shimmering blue and white jewel floating in the dark. A world full of movement, full of water, full of storms, full of light. A world that clearly hosts life. And perhaps, somewhere out there, another civilization has noticed that glow and wondered what kind of beings live here. They might imagine humans as strange, unpredictable creatures. They might imagine Earth as a world of colors they've never seen. They might imagine forests, oceans, deserts, mountains, and cities, each one alive with its own energy. Even if aliens never visit Earth, the idea that they might exist changes the way humanity sees itself. It encourages humility. It encourages perspective. It encourages a sense of connection, not just with other life forms, but with the universe itself. Humans become a small part of something much larger, something ancient and ongoing. As people drift deeper into sleep, these thoughts can carry them gently across cosmic distances. The stars above become soft lanterns guiding the imagination. The worries of the day begin to fade, replaced by smooth, quiet visions of distant worlds. In this mental space, everything slows down. Everything becomes softer. Everything opens up. Some imagine floating above an alien landscape, looking down at luminous lakes that ripple with colors unknown on Earth. Others picture walking across sandy plains lit by two suns, feeling warm winds shaped by alien weather patterns. Others imagine drifting through clouds made of shimmering particles that glow in soft pulses, lighting up the sky like a dream. Each image becomes a bridge to a calm state of mind. The universe, in all its vastness, becomes a soothing companion, a reminder that life continues, grows, evolves, and expands everywhere it can. And in that reminder, people find a sense of peace that helps them rest.